The time is 0100 hours, Zulu. The location: a ghost on the satellite map. A place officially designated as a conventional ammunition plant, but known in every major intelligence agency as the heart of Iran's most clandestine weapons programs. The Parchin military complex. For decades, it has been a black box, a fortress sealed from the world. Until now, we have obtained authenticated signals intelligence intercepts. The transmission is short, heavily encrypted, but its meaning is unambiguous. The call sign is Cerberus. The directive is a two-word phrase that has sent shockwaves through the Pentagon's E-ring. Nightfall protocol is a go. This is not a drill. This is not a proxy engagement. This is a direct action mission, executed by the most elite, most deniable assets in the United States arsenal. Operators from the Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC. Their objective: penetrate Parchin, a facility ringed with overlapping circles of IRGC defenders, state-of-the-art anti-aircraft batteries, and electronic warfare suites designed to blind any intruder. The mission profile suggests a high-altitude, low-opening, or HALO insertion under the cover of a localized comms blackout, a surgical strike into the nerve center of the Iranian regime. For days, Washington has been silent. Tehran has issued vague warnings of enemy sabotage, but the truth is now leaking out, fragment by agonizing fragment. This is the evidence: leaked helmet camera footage, authenticated by 3 separate intelligence sources. We're looking at Tier 1 operators on Iranian soil. The quality is degraded, the chaos of the environment palpable, but the details tell a story of unparalleled operational security and lethality. Notice the weapon systems: likely customized HK-416s with next-generation suppressors. The operators move with a fluidity that only comes from thousands of hours of training in killhouses. They are ghosts, moving through a fortress designed to keep them out. They aren't targeting the known missile assembly buildings or the centrifuge test sites that inspectors have been demanding to see for years. The telemetry data from the leak, cross-referenced with architectural blueprints of Parchin believed to be held by Mossad, indicates they were driving deep into a subterranean sector of the facility. A section so secret, its existence has only been a rumor. Codenamed the Vault. The operators flood into the darkness beyond. The last clear audio from this fragment is not the sound of gunfire, nor the shouts of Iranian guards. It's a single, distorted cry from within the room, an utterance in Farsi, quickly cut off. The chilling part? Analysis of the voice print suggests the tone isn't one of fear, but of expectation, as if they knew someone was coming. The question is, what were they waiting for inside the most heavily guarded room in the Islamic Republic of Iran? The official mission designation, Nightfall Protocol, implies an operation to prevent a strategic threat from maturing. It is not an assassination. It is a seizure. JSOC was dispatched to infiltrate, secure, and extract a high-value asset. The immediate assumption was a person, a top-tier nuclear physicist like Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, who was assassinated in 2020, or perhaps an IRGC general with intimate knowledge of Iran's ballistic missile command and control. Extracting a human target from Parchin is a tactical nightmare, but strategically logical. The intelligence gained from such a defector could set back Iran's military ambitions by a decade. It would be the greatest intelligence coup of the 21st century. For a time, this was the prevailing theory. It was clean, it was understandable, and it was wrong. A second, more degraded SIGINT file has now surfaced. The communication is from the JSOC ground commander during the exfiltration phase. The transcript is a firestorm of tactical urgency. The exfil point is compromised. They are taking heavy fire from IRGC special forces, not base security, but elite commandos. But it's one short, 7-word sentence that changes everything. Repeat, the package, the asset, is not human. Let that sink in. A team of the world's deadliest soldiers risked igniting a world war not for a person, but for an object. Something located in Parchin's deepest sanctum. The chatter refers to it with a single, ominous code word: the core. This revelation reframes the entire operation. This was not a defection. This was a heist. The United States sent its most valuable military assets to steal Iran's most valuable secret. The risk calculus for such a mission is astronomical. The core would have to be something of existential importance. A new type of warhead? A master file of Iran's global terror network? Or something else entirely? This is previously unreleased footage from the exfiltration. We can see them moving back through the breached corridors, Two operators are carrying a heavy, shielded container between them. Its design is unfamiliar. The team is moving with extreme prejudice. They are no longer ghosts. They are a sledgehammer, fighting their way out. The resistance is fierce, organized, and utterly lethal. The IRGC knew the escape route. Then, the final, chilling transmission from the ground commander, broadcast in the clear, a desperate act when encryption protocols fail. The signal is nearly lost to a massive energy spike, consistent with a large-scale explosion. His last words are fragmented but decipherable. They knew a trap. The core is, it's a. The transmission ends. The last sound recorded is not gunfire, but a deafening, terrifying roar that is neither mechanical nor human. The mission to secure the asset was a success. The extraction was a catastrophe, and the trap was sprung. In the 72 hours since the raid on Parchin, the geopolitical landscape has fractured. The initial phase of plausible deniability has been shattered by these leaks. The evidence of American boots on Iranian soil is now irrefutable, and Tehran is seething. This morning, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei delivered a speech broadcast on all state-run media. He did not mince words. He declared the raid an act of war by the great Satan. He promised a response that would be, in his exact words, unprecedented in scope and crushing in its fury. This is not the standard political rhetoric we have become accustomed to. The language used by the entire Iranian leadership has shifted from cautionary to apocalyptic. So what does unprecedented mean? Let's break down the strategic options. Option 1. Conventional military action. Iran could attempt to close the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point for nearly a third of the world's seaborne oil. This would trigger a global economic crisis overnight. They could launch a coordinated ballistic missile barrage against U.S. military installations in Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE, as well as key Israeli strategic sites. The Iron Dome and Patriot systems are effective, but they are not infallible against a mass salvo attack. Option 2. Asymmetric warfare on a global scale, activating their network of proxies. Hezbollah could open a new front against Israel. Shia militias in Iraq could launch a wave of attacks against the remaining U.S. diplomatic and military presence. The Houthis in Yemen could escalate their attacks on international shipping far beyond the Red Sea. But this goes further. Sleeper cells in Europe and even the United States could be activated. The goal would be to create chaos, to stretch American resources to the breaking point, to make the price of the Parchin raid bleed out across the entire globe. Then there is the cyber domain. Iran's cyber warfare units are among the most sophisticated in the world. An unprecedented attack would not be simple website defacement. It would be a targeted assault on critical infrastructure, power grids, financial markets, water treatment facilities. A digital Pearl Harbor designed to cripple the American homeland without firing a single shot. But all of these scenarios are based on what we know Iran is capable of. The raid on Parchin, the extraction of the core, and the commander's final, cryptic warning suggest a new, terrifying variable in this equation. Our intelligence partners have just declassified this. It is a post-raid thermal imaging scan of the Parchin facility. While the surface shows damage consistent with the firefight and the exfil explosion, the subterranean level, the location of the vault, is emitting a massive, anomalous energy signature. It does not match the thermal decay of any known conventional explosive. It does not match a radiological signature from a dirty bomb or a reactor breach. It is something new. The trap the JSOC team triggered was not just an ambush. It may have been the activation of whatever was left behind. We are now in the final, most critical phase of this analysis. We must synthesize the knowns and extrapolate the unknowns to understand what comes next. We have a successful JSOC infiltration and extraction of a mysterious object called the core. We have a compromised exfiltration, significant American casualties, and a final warning of a trap. We have an official Iranian vow of unprecedented retaliation, and we have an anomalous energy signature blooming beneath the Parchin complex, a ghost in the machine that no one can identify. This leads us to three distinct and increasingly terrifying strategic scenarios. Scenario A, the conventional fury. Iran, feeling its sovereignty has been violated, launches the full might of its conventional forces. Missiles fly, the Strait of Hormuz is mined, and the Middle East is plunged into a full-scale, high-intensity war. The global economy collapses, and the potential for a nuclear exchange, particularly if Israel is targeted, becomes terrifyingly real. Scenario B, the Thousand Cuts. Iran chooses not to engage in a symmetrical conflict it knows it cannot win. Instead, it unleashes its global network of proxies and cyber warriors. A death by 1,000 cuts. Car bombs in European capitals. Assassinations of U.S. officials abroad. A crippling cyber attack that shuts down the New York Stock Exchange. This strategy avoids a direct military response from the U.S., but inflicts a slow, agonizing, and chaotic punishment. But then there is Scenario C, the unprecedented. This is the scenario that keeps strategists at NORAD and the Kremlin awake at night. In this scenario, Iran's retaliation is tied directly to the nature of the core and the energy signature at Parchin. What if the core was not a weapon itself, but a control key, a stabilizing component for a much larger, more dangerous technology? What if the JSOC raid, by removing it, effectively unlocked something at Parchin? The trap was not to kill the operators, but to force them to take the one thing holding a new form of weapon in check. This is speculative, but it fits the available data. A technology the world has never seen before. Perhaps a directed energy weapon, an exotic form of radiological device, or something that operates on principles of physics we don't yet understand. In this scenario, Iran's unprecedented response wouldn't be a missile. It would be a demonstration of a new power that would instantly rewrite the global balance of power and render conventional military forces obsolete. The roar heard on the final transmission could have been the sound of this technology activating. The silence from Washington is deafening. They have the core, but they do not know what they triggered to get it. The rhetoric from Tehran is terrifying, but it is their silence on the nature of their response that is the most alarming. The Nightfall Protocol was executed to prevent a future threat. It may have, in fact, just guaranteed its arrival. The world is now balanced on a knife's edge, staring into an abyss of terrifying uncertainty. The next 48 hours will not just define the future of the U.S.-Iran conflict. They may define the future of warfare itself. The game has changed. The front line is everywhere. And so we must ask the critical question, the only question that now matters. With American operators confirmed on the ground and a mysterious core now in U.S. hands, what form does an unprecedented retaliation truly take? And is the world prepared for the answer? Let us know your analysis in the comments below. Your insights are a critical part of this community. The situation is developing at an incredible speed, and we will be here to break it down for you as it happens. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and if you are not already subscribed, now is the time. Hit that button and the notification bell. You will not want to miss our next report. Breaking the front. Signing off.